But isn't it fascinating how life imitates art, especially when it comes to a loss of identity? I personally believe one of the best movies that depicts the loss of identity is The Matrix. It's not something you could watch one time. You got to watch multiple times. But we're going to dive in a little deep and we're going to talk about the loss of identity. So let's do it. And we're going to illustrate a bit as usual. Salud, mama. Mama, how's your nose? Your nose? Yeah. Here we go. This is the beautiful world that we live in. Mostly water, and then you have land. The body is made up of 60% water. So the earth is our turf, and water we are, for the most part. So a loss of identity in this, you should say it could be easy because compared to the earth, you're like, you're so small, you're like a dot. Like if you fly on an airplane, my airplane looks like a shark a bit, but that is an airplane. And when you're flying over things, the biggest pools, the biggest buildings just look like dots. So it's a big possibility that you may lose your identity in something this big based off the how big the earth is. So with that being said, loss of identity, let's start from when you're in school. when you attend school. So in here, you'll have this building that's structured for you to move from K to 12. That's the goal. And then I heard this from, what's the guy's name? Young Pharaoh. And he spoke about, in kindergarten, he spoke about something very interesting. In kindergarten, the classroom, it looks like this. Colorful. The room is very, very, very colorful. Oh, that fell off too. But once you move up, after past kindergarten, it's a wrap. Everything is this. Dull. Black, white, brown, sit in the seat, etc., etc. So this only lasts 1 year. Right? This only lasts 1 year. These other grades where you're expounding and everything is dull, that's about 11 years of your life. And the one time when you're learning these colorful, all of this, you're learning, you're inspiring, you're being creative. All this goes out the window in 1 year, and the rest of your years are pretty much dull. We got to look at that. I don't think people look at it like that from that point of view. But of course, your identity could be lost because you have 1 year of creation. If you're, in the system of school. So, yes, during this path, you may lose your identity. And the reason why is because you're put so much in a system to follow as opposed to be a leader. So now most followers, if they don't know themselves, they'll believe that they're doing the right thing or the thing that their mind really wants them to do, but they don't understand or comprehend the fact that there's a system in place that is not letting you become what you ultimately need to become. So when you're losing your identity, it's a systematic breakdown. It's like boxing. Round one, your opponent may be super powerful, super strong, super sharp, and he may be focused. He may come out swinging. And you may be a pressure, not a pressure fighter, but more so you're like this, and your fighter's like this. So as the rounds go on, they decline and you rise to the top. So the first round, you don't go too crazy. Second round, you don't go too crazy. Third round, you start to pick up their habits. You start to see them fade. When you pick up, they drop off. When you pick up, they drop off. So I say that to say this, by round 12 or round 6, you can either get a knockout or you can even really systematically break them down. And that's pretty much what a system in place will do to you. Systematically break you down when it's elevated, when it's an elevated game plan, I should say. So losing your identity will start from you as a child and then to you as a person. So now you go off into the real world, and then you go off into this world where you have jobs, trades. Let's wait for this to pass. Make sure we're good on this. We're wonderful. We're excellent. So you got jobs, you got trades, you got college as well. And you have these things put in place in order for you to figure out what you want to do, but never find yourself. Never get that real identity. These are personal goals. This is a personal goal. Your identity is a personal goal in order for you to impact the world. And then this is what's put in place in order for you to help the world or help someone get rich. So self-work is one of the things that most people are not able to do because they're occupied. You occupied with all of this, or you may be occupied with family. Maybe occupied with family, and this whole time you believe in what you're doing is the correct thing for you to possibly find yourself, but ultimately you haven't worked on yourself. You haven't gave yourself a break. Like, I spoke to someone that I know, and he's been working since he was 16. He's now in his 30s, and so from 16 to his 30s, he's been working. So, and he had a kid as well. So that alone, on top of you not being able to take a break and let your mind think about stuff, a loss of identity is somewhere down there. And the things that you think that you like, you may not actually even like. It's more of a systematic breakdown of your mental for you to believe that this is what I personally like. So if you're working from 16 and you're in your 30s, that's added on top more. So these 14 years, and let's just say 4, 14, 18, plus another 10, 28 years. 28 years of a system outside of yourself and not being able to take vacations, breaks, quality time, and things of that nature, in order for you to reveal your self-identity, reveal what you really like, what you don't like on your schedule, on your time. Most people are not on their time. So they don't have their own mind. And most people don't even understand or comprehend that, which is the very first lesson I spoke about. If you want to watch that video, it's here. So, loss of identity, your identification of who you are, not your ID card, a loss of you, a loss of who you really are, who you truly are. What's your purpose in this world? What are some of the effects of not having that? One, you become a follower. So if hopefully y'all can see this. Probably can't see that. So let me put this in. You become a follower. So when you become a follower, you don't know what it's like to lead. You don't know what it's like to lead. You know what it's like to do what's told to you and follow an order. And there's nothing wrong with that if you implementing something you want to optimally learn from someone. There's nothing wrong with learning or following order in order to get something right. But it's how it's being done and how it's working. So you never get a chance to be a leader, you become a follower. Your thoughts become mere second nature. And not in a way that someone may think or interject and say, hold on, what you mean second nature? Your thoughts become second nature. You have the automatic mind working all the time instead of. So if your automatic mind is working all the time, you neglect questions. So you neglect asking questions. And when you neglect asking questions, you can never ever be the true person you want to be, or you can never even get the full answers or full breakdown of something because you're constantly in a state of go, 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 go. 1 second. Your nose? Oh, you all right? Yeah, so a person who doesn't ask questions never really receives the right answers and never have a chance to open their mind and dive and go deep. And then this is the whole thing about life. The better questions you ask, the better answers you get. Ask and you shall receive. So just based off of you not being a leader, you just thinking with your automatic brain and you neglecting questions, you start to question yourself, but in a negative way. So yeah, you'll ask questions, but the questions that you need to ask, you should question yourself. But now when you're questioning yourself, a lot of times the questions that you ask yourself is negative, or the thoughts that you ask yourself is negative, because you're wondering why I can't get ahead with the way that life is. I cannot get ahead. I got to work 2 or 3 jobs. I'm always tired. And I don't know who I am. Or why can't I get ahead? Why everybody else has it good? You start to question yourself. And then that could lead down to a whole bunch of sobriety. It could lead to you not understanding your value, your worth. And then that's what a lot of this does. It eats you up. It chews you out. Excuse me. It eats you up. It swallows you, and then it takes a crap on you. You're out of here. So since my light died, we're still going to continue on and on and on. Questioning yourself. These wrong questions, these negative questions that you're asking yourself, and then moving on to the fact that you start to be negative. You go into depression. You have serious doubt. You're Your mind becomes negative and you feel trapped, right? Like, all of these things have a more negative effects to it. If you want to go to depression, depression can lead you to alcoholism. You can start drinking, right? You can go to alcohol or pills. Doubt will stop you from attempting things. So with doubt, risk, the risk that you want and the risk that you see, you'll never take a risk. You'll never take a risk based off the fact that you're so doubtful, because the system, the way it is doesn't seem like it's fitting you. And then the negative thoughts just kills all of this. So your negative thoughts doesn't allow you to be a master at work. Yeah, so the negative thoughts ultimately will kill you because everything starts in the mind. So now your mind starts playing tricks on you and the negative things always pop up in your head. So you have an internal conflict, which is a mental war. You versus you. And 9 times out of 10, you stopping you, your own obstacle, goalpost in sight, while you make it optional. You know? And then when you feel trapped, the moment you feel like you get a big break, the moment you feel like you get anywhere of some type of freedom, the moment, let's just say you come up 10,000. What's the first thing you're going to do? You probably buy a car. You buy some liabilities. Yeah, you buy some liabilities that do nothing for you but take this 10,000, because a caged bird barely flourishes. And the moment they get their hands on it, they wasn't taught the value of 10,000 and putting it somewhere. Although 10,000 is no type of money, they're not taught this, or they don't understand that concept. So for them, it just doesn't seem so real that I have 10,000 and I can keep it and put it here and make it double, make it flip. And then I can use this to buy assets to have my money working harder than I'm working harder for money. You know? So pretty much a loss of identity can place you here on this border. Now, what I have for you is, if you've never seen the movie The Matrix, watch the movie The Matrix. It teaches you a lot. You know, it's a very, 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 very powerful movie. And they're always telling you what's going on. You just have to watch certain movies and dissect them and use your mind. That's one of the ways my mind stood elevated as well. Not even through the teaching and watching people and things of that nature. It was more so movies, watching movies, but not sit there to watch. Like, people watch TV, they just sit on the couch. And if you're going to watch something, look at the signs and symbols of things that they're showing, how they're conveying the message. And I promise you, you'll start to look at life in a totally different light. So the loss of identity doesn't have to be you. Comes with some work, comes with some soul searching. It comes with a lot. And this is just one of the layers that we're peeling back of the mindset, and how you need a strong mindset in order for you to be a powerful man and not a passive man. From passive to powerful, we're unlocking the barriers and understanding what it takes to become the man you want to be. I truly appreciate you for your time, and I want to thank you for showing up and showing out. See you in the next video, family. Salute.